Hi everybody. Okay, so my last video I talked about Manitoba human rights and um, my interactions with them and how I haven't seen the kids in years. And I said the next video I would be going over that. I'm going to delay that until July 15th for the simple reason it has gone to the executive director of Manitoba Human Rights and I'm waiting for a response from her or him. And um, but I'm not going to wait forever. So I've given a deadline of a month from now, which is the exact time frame they gave me to give them a response um, recently. So moving on to the next topic is the topic of Greg Rickford. Now, because of all the things going on with Fro, which is provincial, I reached out to Greg Rickford for help. And the fact that I can't seem to find a lawyer to represent me in um, my Manitoba legalities in Ontario, right? Like I live in Ontario, so I want an Ontario lawyer, but um, the matters are in Manitoba courts, so they have to be eligible to work in Manitoba or practice in Manitoba. And because I'm not working right now, um, I should be eligible for, well, because my income is at a certain point, I should be eligible for legal aid. However, that is not the case because Legal Aid Ontario will not assign lawyers for Manitoba court. And because I'm a resident of Ontario, I'm not eligible for legal aid in Manitoba. Not that legal aid in Manitoba ever really helped me, but that's another that's another topic completely for another day. Um, okay, so um, we're going to go over the consent form with Greg Rickford. And I got to say that this consent form is kind of concerning and very, very sketchy from what I can see, right? So it reads, and oh, one more thing. So I did sign it about a month ago when I went to him for help. Um, April 27th, I believe his office told me. I'd have to double check that date, but April 27th, so over a month ago, I went to I met with him. Now, it's important for me to mention before this last election, I went to him for help. Okay, now he has held this position in Kenora, Rainy River District, um, for as I'm not exactly sure how long, but I know it's been at least two terms. So this term and the term previous. Okay. Um, so it's very it's very concerning that his office kind of laughed at it that, I contacted them before the last election. Well, before the last election, he still held this position. So now, and you'll hear all this in the recordings because in the next video, I am going to share the recordings. Um, but over 2 years ago, I went to him for help. Now, it took until this year, April 27th, approximately, for him to actually meet with me. Now, it is actually kind of a disturbing and funny story at the same time because, yes, I did reach out to him before the last election. And then during the election, he came to my door and I had a friend over and um, he agreed in front of this person that he would meet with me for coffee or a conversation um, in a few weeks. Well, and he gave me his number. So I then called him up and tried to meet with him for coffee, and he kept dodging my calls. Now, he could say, well, it's because it was election and I was busy. Well, you'd think that's all the more reason for you to meet with somebody. But even after the election, I still kept reaching out to him and he refused to meet with me. Now, a couple years later, I I now say, okay, well, I need help, and this guy who's supposed to be our provincial um, leader, he's discriminating against me by not meeting with me and not having a conversation with me. So I say I said on another video that I'm going to be going to Ontario Human Rights. Well, then he schedules a meeting for me. So it took me saying I'm going to go to Ontario Human Rights before actual action took place or a conversation, right? During that conversation, he pretty much said to me he would refuse to help me until I signed this document. And so, under duress, I signed this document. Now, we're going to go over this document, and I'm going to explain my takeaway from this document. So, because I signed it, it would have read, I, Susan Mayaska, the undersigned, do hereby grant full and unrestricted permission to any and all agencies of the municipal, provincial, and federal government in Canada, or to any private agencies, to release details of my interactions with said agencies to Greg Rickford, MPP, Kenora, Rainy River, or his designated staff in order to facilitate their activities on my behalf. I further release Greg Rickford and his staff from any liability which may arise because of their access to such information. Okay, so there is a few issues with this letter. First of all, it's all encompassing. So this one little letter gives him access to my medical. It gives him access to my CRA. It gives him access to literally everything and anything that my name is attached to, which is super concerning. Not that I have anything to hide, because I don't, but I don't want some guy who took 2 years to meet with me and only met with me because I said I was going to go to Ontario Human Rights to have all and unrestricted access to my personal information. I don't trust them. So then it also states that in order to facilitate activities on my behalf. Well, it doesn't state what activities he is going to be facilitating on my behalf. Like it doesn't specify that it doesn't specify that he is reaching out to Fro because I asked him to. As far he could reach out to, again, CRA or any agency or organization that I previously had contact with. Like this letter is super, super sketchy. Not only that, but the next line, I further release Greg Rickford and his staff from any liability which may arise because of their access to such information. So after he gets this information, there is no liability for him. He could share it with whoever, whenever he wanted, and there is absolutely no liability for him. This letter ensures that it gives him unrestricted access to all my information with no liability. And I mean, that is super sketchy. One of the things in Canada is the right to privacy, and this letter basically violates all that. It ensures that where he is concerned, I don't have access to any sort of privacy. And again, that is super, super sketchy. So in the next video, oh, sorry. So this video is literally to say, I do not give him consent. I want him to tear up this letter. Today I met with him and he refused to tear up this letter. So that is the reason for this video, to say he does not have my consent to use this letter in any shape, way, or form. And any agency that he used it with, I want a list of and what information he accessed prior to um, being made aware that I do not give consent for him to access my information in any shape, way, or form going forward. And I did put that in an email to his office, which we'll be going over. I sent it a few weeks ago. Now, I would be willing to sign a different consent form if he put in that, you know, he's going to contact such and such agency on my behalf for the purpose of whatever. That kind of consent form I would give, I would agree to, because that is a standardized consent form that most agencies use. And if I can, I'll find a consent form from other agencies that I've worked with in the past, to show you exactly what I mean in the next video. But for right now, I just want to make it clear that he does not have my permission to use this consent form in any shape, way, or form to access any of my information. Now, I will be putting in Ontario Human Rights complaint today, because I feel that I was forced to sign this if I wanted his help, which is essentially blackmail. And also, in the next video, I will be sharing the recordings of the conversations I had with Greg Rickford, and it'll show how disrespectful the whole conversations were. Like, he had absolutely no interest in helping me whatsoever, and he's made that clear by his lack of action. Like, after I signed this document, he had over a month to help me, where he could have used this form, and he chose not to. So there is that. All right, so the next video, I'll be going over, I'll be showing the recordings. I'll be going over the complaint I made to the Ontario Human Rights Commission in regards to him. And we'll talk about more about the things that I asked for him for help with. And also, we'll be going over the emails, the numerous emails I sent to his office asking for an appointment, and their responses. All right, you guys have a good night. Next video will be tomorrow.